Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365, the Cubs run on the Rockies all the way to another series win. Cade Horton shines on the mound, and Matt Shaw walks them off. Load up the old beer bat. CHGO next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. The kids come through. Cubs win 4-3 in 11 innings. That wraps up what will be another series win. They can go for the sweep tomorrow. We'll be here for that post-game show. Shout out to everybody in the live YouTube chat that's already watching. We appreciate you. That is the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and tell somebody about it, please. Hello to everybody that's there. I see Corey has already chimed in. Our guy, Corey Friedman, has jumped in. I'm curious if he was at the game eating hot dogs tonight. Matt Shaw, Cade Horton leading the way on the W. That's what I'm saying. The kids come through, and you can also talk about, and we will, PCA stolen base of third, but we'll get to Horton.
Yeah.
But Matt Shaw, you have to feel good about what he's done since coming back, Cody.
Yeah, I think I tweeted the numbers yesterday or the day before, but I mean, I don't have them stuck in my head, but I mean, he's been awesome.
Yeah.
Just to put it simply, he's been awesome since coming back from AAA. You know, we highlighted when they played the Marlins. He had a couple doubles, the opposite field. Had some big moments against the Reds over the weekend. And the big thing to me, the defense really shining. It shined again tonight. He had a couple nice plays. The way they were defensively aligned in one particular inning, he had to go. He had to field it going towards third base. And his transfer from glove to hand and then throwing it, it's unlike anything I've seen at third base in a while from a Chicago Cub. And so I know I'm highlighting his defense whenever he just had a walk-off hit, but I asked for the bare minimum, and that was just competent defense, and he's surpassed competent on defense. And so far, to this point, since coming back, he's surpassed any expectation I had on offense. My plus 3,000 rookie of the year for the National League bet's looking kind of good right now. And that's not even like Delulu. Okay.
No, it's not.
And I love in this situation in the ninth inning, go the opposite way. Little looper, the way that the ball was flying tonight, as in not flying at all. I don't care how you get a hit there. So I'm happy for him. He deserves it. He's worked really hard. He said all the right things during this process, going through the ups and downs of being a rookie in this league. And I think it's him getting that hit is just a testament of, kind of the baseball gods kind of handing him one. Like, here, have this because you've been working really hard and you deserve it. And, putting the ball in play. Sometimes it's all you got to do, especially against the Rockies.
And with McMahon in town with the Rockies, who also, by the way, struck out in extra innings when he could have added for the Rockies.
That's fair.
Load up the old beer bat tonight because it's coming here in the next segment. Cody will do his celebratory beer bat chug for you. A lot of people jumping in already. 6-8-9, Ben is predicting. We'll get to that in a little bit. You've been a little bit off your game, but,
Thanks for just being honest.
It is what it is. Matt Shaw, 2 hits in the game, right?
Yes.
And
two stolen bases.
First career walk-off, and I was going to say 2 stolen bases. 2 of the 6 Cubs stolen bases. Now, I understand that it is the Rockies, and you need to sweep the Rockies because they're a minor league team. They have 9 wins, okay? But this is what's good about this offense. Yes, they have guys that are probably going to hit 30 home runs. Yes, they have the RBI leader in Major League Baseball this season. But when they're not hitting well, when it's not working at the plate for the team, they do have other ways to score runs. Yeah. And they scored some runs the old-fashioned way tonight, including in extras. You get the fan runner in PCA, and he can steal third.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I was super excited about him trying it because I didn't want to make that out at third, but 6 stolen bases, it was a turning point in this game, not that play, the fact of stealing bases. The Cubs threw them out twice trying to steal second, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Cubs stole 6 base. I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah, the small ball, as you want to call it. I think they did a lot of things well in getting in position in some innings. They just couldn't get the big hit. But yeah, the way this team runs on the base paths all season has been something that I feel like we've seen in recent seasons in terms of stolen bases. But I know last year we talked a lot about how they're not a good base running team. This year, they're not only are they stealing bases, but they're a good base running team. They're very smart on the base paths. And yeah, I think the 10th inning could have been different if Carson Kelly wasn't on second base.
Yeah.
Of course, I would have liked Happ or Tucker or Suzuki to get the big hit or whatever, right? But with the night that this offense had, or just in general, every team had in this, or the Rockies did too, not that matters, but being able to get a guy at third base with less than 2 outs it makes things a little bit easier for you to get that run in. So it is what it is. But the fact that, that they kind of displayed a little bit of many ways on how they can beat you offensively is a good sign. Because I think a lot of fans early on, especially in April, were like, all this team does is slug, which was like fun because they didn't slug enough last year. But can they do the little things? Can they manufacture runs and stuff? Well, I know it didn't look like it tonight, but we mentioned this on Sunday, I believe. Maybe it was Kevin. I think they're number 2 in baseball with runners in scoring position. At least going into Sunday they were. Again, tonight they didn't display that a ton, but they've been able to hit well in certain situations, get guys on base in certain situations, depending on how things are playing at Wrigley. But yeah, they would have had 3 homers tonight if the wind wasn't blown in. So
a season high, I believe, 13 games over the 500 mark. It's a stretch where they have to play well. And I mentioned at the top, the young guys coming through, right?
Yeah.
The young guys help win the game. Yes, PCA was a part of it with that stolen base. Yes, Matt Shaw delivered the big hit. We're going to get to Cade Horton in a second. But don't forget, your second-year first baseman came through with a little check hit. But it counts. He had a little wry smile afterwards, but felt good for Busch getting that hit too.
We don't talk about him enough, and I'm guilty that I don't talk about him enough. But that OPS over 700 or over 800 at last I checked, and big hit there to tie the game. I don't know how things go if he doesn't get that hit, because the way the game was going, especially if he would have struck out in that moment. I think he had a 3-1 count when he got that check swing hit, but I did not have a ton of confidence in the moment.
When they didn't score with their big guys up at the plate, I thought they were going to lose the game.
Yeah. And then Flexen giving up the 1 run, which honestly in extra innings, if you give up the 1 run, it's a win, because in the bottom half, you're going to have your guy on second base too. And in that instance, it was PCA, which turned out to be huge. He's a lot faster than Carson Kelly, but yeah, it was frustrating how the 10th inning went, but Chris Flexen deserves a lot of credit. I mean,
big time he does.
He didn't completely implode. It wasn't like Ryan Presley against the Giants that one game where they gave up like 7 or 8 earned runs and completely imploded. I announced on Twitter tonight that Flexen was officially in the circle of trust.
I announced while we were watching the game, he may be the ace of the staff.
Now I need to get the reality spray.
It's right here.
Can I spray you with
it? No, you cannot.
So
I was joking, but I mean, he has been really spectacular for him, and this was a really good, and at that point in the second time through, gutsy outing.
Yeah,
for him.
And the big thing that I had held back on Flexen up until tonight is that a lot of the innings he had pitched, the Cubs were trailing or they were up 1,000 runs, and Craig Counsell's bringing him in to just eat some innings. That way he can save the bullpen. Weren't using him in any real high leverage spots. He came in a tie game and did what he did. Yep. So hats off to him. He deserves a lot of credit. He's been a great addition to his team. And like I said, I think I said this when I tweeted about him coming to the Cubs in general whenever he got promoted. I was like, if the Cubs get any value out of this guy, I'd send Tommy Hotovy or I don't want to hear Tommy Hotovy slander ever again or something like that. I think I remember tweeting that. And like, it's pretty incredible what Chris Flexen has been able to do for this team. This guy went 3-15. I know you're a win-loss guy. The guy was 3-15 with the White Sox last year and was not very good at all. The fact that he's pitching in the 10th inning of a tie game, whether it's the Rockies or not, like he's a big reason why this team has won in the month of May. You know,
I told you I heard him on the radio talking about how it was as simple as the Cubs said, "Oh, your arm angle isn't where it should be," to when you were successful, and then he went and worked on it, and it's for him. He believes it's been the difference. It's something that simple that they identified. And the Cubs have been able to do it with a bunch of guys. Keller's been great this season. Did the job again. I'm really encouraged, aside from the fact that they won the game and the young guys won, Cade Horton, his third career start. It's a great time that you don't want to have to call him up at all because of injuries. Yeah. But he has come up at a really good time for some of the teams that they're facing. Beneficial to face the White Sox, beneficial to go against the Rockies here, but in his third big league start, he gets his first career quality start. You can argue whether or not he should have been in there for that last pitch. I'll just say this, Cade Horton has done a really nice job. Yeah. Really nice job stepping up for the Cubs.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of what we were hoping to see from Ben Brown from the beginning of the year, right? Like we're seeing gradual progress these first three starts. Now, he did debut against the Mets, but his last three outings, the Marlins, the White Sox, the Marlins, and now the Rockies. Yeah. So 3 bottom feeders. But you'd rather see him do really good against these bad teams than not.
Yeah, you don't want the opposite. Right. This could have, if he didn't come back, this could have very easily been 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Right. And I think he had like 80 pitches going into the 7th. Now I think
and that was the weird number. Like he hadn't thrown that.
Well, in the
minors, right?
Yeah, apparently in the minors he hadn't thrown. He didn't do a start where he threw over 80 pitches. He had close to 90, I believe, against Miami. And so I saw some discussion from the prospect guys that cover the Cubs prospects talking about it. I don't know enough like those guys do, so I'm not going to sit here and say they're wrong. But to me, he's coming off an injury-plagued season. He's had Tommy John in the past, and to me, I think it's smart to be, I don't want to say coddle, but you have to be smart about the innings this guy is getting and the pitch count, because to me, if this guy sticks, which right now it looks like he's sticking, this guy could be a real weapon for you down the stretch, whether it's in the rotation or in the bullpen. And I still, entering the season, I thought, maybe 120 innings max for this guy. 20 1/3 innings now here at the end of May. These innings are going to add up, plus all the innings he already threw in the minors this year. So I don't know what their limit is for Cade Horton, but above all, that's something we'll probably monitor all year in terms of pitch counts and stuff. But he still looked like a dog tonight. 6 strikeouts, career high. And you just like to see him go out there and do well against teams that he should do well against, or theoretically do well against. So, I just think he's made good progress.
It's just a nice way to build confidence early in a major league career, right? Yeah. Like the opposite was true for Matt Shaw. Hey, go face the Dodgers in Japan.
Right.
You had no spring training. Here, go face the Dodgers in Japan. That was a little bit tougher. This was better. We've got more coming up. We're going to talk about some of the things Jed Hoyer said before the game. We have the Beer Bat Chug on the way. Make your predictions in the live YouTube chat here in the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel as we head to break. But first, a word from our sponsors, Cody.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Sign up and use code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5. Get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets or parlay selections marked as winners as well. Tonight, I had Matt Shaw, hits, runs, RBIs. That cashed pretty early.
Cashed.
I had Kyle Tucker. He had 2 hits. I had him on total bases.
Money.
And then Seiya should have had a homer tonight if it wasn't for the win, so I lost that one. But he did have a hit. So I came 1 base short, and then I had Nico Hoerner on hits, runs, RBIs, and he had a hit, but he didn't score or get an RBI. So even night. I'll take an even night, and I knew it was risky considering the wind conditions. But anyway, I didn't fully lose tonight. So you could be like me and probably do better. All you got to do is download the Bet365 app. New customers, again, get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. No, it doesn't matter. Win or lose, you place a $5 bet, use code CHGO365, and you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. You can do it on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be assessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court, home field, home ice advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to the big box store. You wander endlessly through the aisles, staring at the neon lights. Somehow you end up there where you need to be, but, they might have a flooring department, and also the person helping you with that flooring might have been doing sinks yesterday, could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. That's all they do. So they're great at it. Get precise measurements taken. Have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. And with Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you could schedule installation as soon as the next day because nobody likes to wait. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, pay attention. You can receive a $350 discount using the promo code CHGO. You heard me right. $350 off with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. We got a lot of people in the chat jumping in, predicting how long this is going to take, Cody, the Beer Bat Chug. Before we get to that, I do want to remind you, this is our Taking the Temp segment. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. And I would like to mention that Seiya Suzuki is your National League Player of the Week. If you're looking for a temp check, he's red hot.
Yeah, he's red hot. And even at an RBI single tonight, I know it was hard to score runs tonight, but he had a big part in the scoring of the runs.
We'll mention more about him later. But first, I'm curious to see who Cody's going to dedicate this Beer Bat Chug to tonight.
It's certainly not to the rule of the ghost runner, because I do agree with Godfather on that, who said in the chat that the runner on second in the extra innings is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I would agree. But when the Cubs win with it's beautiful. All right. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to it, I will admit. Big of me to admit. All right. Dedication tonight. I mean, I will give it to Matt Shaw just because it wasn't just the walk-off hit. He had 2 stolen bases. He had good defense. He's been playing well. And 2 hits?
2 hits, RBI, first ever walk-off.
Yeah. And he looks like
great defense.
He looks like he belongs. I for this first week that he's here, or since he's came back from the minors, it's truly the first time I feel like he has felt like he belongs. Like his first stint, the defense was fine. He had, he ran into that homer in Arizona, but man, some of those at bats were hard to watch. And that reset did wonders for him. So, I think he deserves it tonight. I think he had an all-around great game.
Okay, now remember, the beer bat chug has to be 10.25 seconds or faster to be considered a quality beer bat chug. Cade Horton got his first career quality start. Cody Del Mendo's going for another quality chug.
This could be tough. This would be 5 straight days with an alcoholic beverage.
There's a lot of head on that beer bat. So, again, it begins when it hits his lips. Here we go. And we are underway. Cody Del Mendo heading through the barrel of the bat. He's already up to 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Can he speed it up and get to the bottom of this? Cody Del Mendo. Sarah says 10-3-0. I have a 9-1-2. Either way you look at it, that is a quality beer bat chug for Mr. Del Mendo. I just
like to roll with Luke's because he always is like,
we got to work on your pouring. There's so much foam. I
blame the cup. I don't know. There
Steven
is a lot
had predicted 10-1-7, so you're right in the right range there. 10-3-4. Cole says, prove him wrong. You did.
Man.
You beat it.
If they win tomorrow, that'd be 6 straight days having a beer. We don't need to have a conversation.
These are the times we've dreamed of, Cody. These are the times we've dreamed of.
Is this the times we dreamed of?
Cue the Foo Fighters. Times like these.
You used to dream of times like this?
Okay, Sarah Langs, great writer, tweeted out, we were talking about Seiya before the beer bat chug and the temp check.
Mm-hmm.
Cubs players with 50-plus RBI in their first 51 games of the season. Seiya Suzuki has it in 2025. Previous to that, the last time it had happened, Derek Lee in 2005. He ended up with 107 runs driven in that year. Sammy did it in 2000 and 2001. He ended up with 138 in 2000. And in 2001, 160 RBI. Be tough to match that. Andre Dawson did it in 87, his MVP season. He finished with 137 RBI. Billy Williams did it in 1970, 129 RBI in the season. And Ernie Banks finished with 117. He did it in 1960. Now, Hack Wilson and some other people did it, but those are the most, from 1960 to this year, those are the only names that did it. So he's in pretty rare company. Some Hall of Famers and maybe future Hall of Famers. You just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some MVPs in there. He is off to a terrific start.
Well, Seiya Suzuki, we talked a ton about him on Sunday because he had that 3-run homer, and, the fact that the power has shown up this year. He just hits the ball so hard, man. He hits the ball so hard, and I really, truly believe that Kyle Tucker has been a major benefit to him, probably the most out of anyone. So can he keep this going? I think so. I think it's fair for people to have questions about Pete Crow Armstrong being as good a hitter as he has been. I think
the rest of the year, maybe?
Yeah. Like, I think it's fair to have questions about that because we haven't seen a full season of this Pete Crow Armstrong. But Seiya Suzuki the last couple years has been really good. He finished with an 850 OPS last year. All right. And now you're seeing a little bit more power out of him this year. And I think you're seeing the full package, at least as a hitter, from him. So,
well, it's why I was so surprised he didn't come through at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you just expected him to get a hit.
Yeah. And I will say, he had a strikeout in this game that kind of reminded me of like some of the frustrations that I have with him sometimes. It was it was either a sweeper or slider, nowhere near the zone. He was down 0-2. The umpire screwed him on the pitch before. He struck out on 3 pitches, and it's just like you roll your eyes and you're like, that's the Seiya that I feel like I've seen too many times, and then it sends you down a negative path. But overall, I think I can live with some of the strikeouts if he is going to have power like he has shown. But big hit today in the early innings to get the Cubs on the board.
51 RBI, roughly like a third of the way through the season. How many will he finish with? Where's Seiya going to finish? Tell us in the live YouTube chat here at the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel.
Was it you or maybe it was Joey like on this day in 2016, like Chris Bryant had just gotten like his 40th RBI.
Yeah, we were talking about 2016 and how this team stacks up. If you were to put this offense with the 2016 pitching staff, how many wins would they reach?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was from Patrick's news.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I'm more concerned with how many guys are going to finish with 30 plus home runs. How many guys are going to hit the 100 mark for RBI? I don't know where Seiya is going to finish, but one thing you see in common from all those guys: Banks in 60, Williams in 70, Andre Dawson 87, Sammy in 2000, 2001, and D. Lee in 2005. They all finish over 100. They all finish over 105. D. Lee must have cooled off or been hurt. I don't remember how that all went. But
Derek Lee in 2005 was a special player.
He was, and that's why you're saying like he has the potential to have that type of season, and it's possible that if things continued the way they did right now, that even though Seiya may have a season as special offensively as like D. Lee did in 2005, the way they're playing right now, it's possible he'd be still be the third best guy in the offense.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If everybody continues doing what they're doing right now, the guy that has 51 RBI and is leading, he could end up being the third best hitter on the team. Now, for those of you that want to tell me, Stuckey, you're old, and wins and losses don't matter. I get it. They don't matter like they used to.
For pitchers.
But the same people all want to tell me, too, that RBI is a garbage. RBI is a garbage stat. It's a garbage stat. It's all about WAR and blah, 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 blah. If you're trying to tell me these guys didn't have great seasons in those seasons, you're wrong.
Well, I think there needs more context to that, right? Like
all of it does.
Right.
All of it does. But I will tell you, a guy that has 51 RBI through 51 games is having a heck of an offensive season.
I tend to disagree with those people. Like RBIs do matter. But with context, that's a testament to guys like Ian Happ and Kyle Tucker and anyone else who's on base ahead of Seiya.
Sure.
Seiya's been driving runs in the 3-hole and sometimes the 2-hole. You know, I mean, like the fact that Pete Armstrong is like right behind him, and the fact that all of April he hit in the 7-hole is pretty hilarious as well. But yeah, Seiya Suzuki, if we're comparing him to 2005 Derek Lee, that's a special season, man.
Well, and I'm not even sure, I mentioned he could end up being the third best hitter. He could end up being the best hitter on the team at the end of the season. I don't know. I think it's possible you have two guys that are over 100 RBI this year.
Yeah.
In addition to the 30 home run thing. Now, I don't know. If I had to predict which guy's going to have the best offensive season when it's all said and done, I'll still stick with Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. Well,
I still think that's the safest bet. But what was the bet you made for home runs on Seiya?
19.5. Yeah,
you're going to win that.
Total. He's got 14.
Knock on wood, you're going to win that.
Barring injury. Yeah.
If you don't, something really bad has happened.
Something really bad happened if I don't win that. Yeah. Related to Kyle Tucker, though, there was a tweet today from Thomas Nestico. This great follow on Twitter, tweets out baseball stats, stuff like that. Best win probability added by team. The Cubs rank 4th, and Kyle Tucker is the name. It's like by a player added.
Oh,
right? And
adding Kyle Tucker has done this.
Yeah,
is that what you're trying to tell me?
2.44. That's the stat for best win probability. Aaron Judge is ahead of him at 2.56, and Ohtani is 2.66, and then surprisingly, Andres Munoz for the Mariners 2.69. Nice. So Kyle Tucker ranked 4th in baseball in terms of best win probability added to the team. So yeah, PCA is awesome, and my MVP bet might win me $400 at the end of the year, and Matt Shaw, Rookie of the Year bet's looking awesome at the current moment, and that might win me $300 at the end of the year. Whatever. Like Seiya, we're giving him all this love, and he deserves it. Kyle Tucker, I truly believe that this season could be as special as it feels like it is right now, largely because of Kyle Tucker, because he just gives you good at bats all the time. And I just think he's a special player. And I will push that down as much as I have to. I did that a lot this morning because I was bored.
Bobby Blanco says he predicted 32 homers on prediction day. You know what? I don't remember anything I predicted, but I'm sure we'll look back at it around the All-Star break and take a look. We're going to hear from Jed Hoyer.
You called PCA Breakout Player of the Year.
Oh, I know I called that. I also called 83 wins a couple years ago, too. But
oh, my God. Don't bring the vibes down with that.
Anyways, we're going to hear from Jed Hoyer in a second, but first a word from our sponsors. Summer's going to be here. In fact, Memorial Day is over, so I say officially summer is here and the hot weather is on its way. Is your home's air conditioning up for the challenge? Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving the Chicago area for more than 50 years. Now's the time to get your AC checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. 2024, just last summer, was the hottest year on record. The heat index even reached 114 degrees last summer at O'Hare. Just because we have to sweat out these Cubs games, even against the Rockies, doesn't mean you need to sweat in your house. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year, no breakdown guarantee. Gotta love a guarantee like that. You can save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units, $39 a month. And AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Call 866-4SEASONS. Your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all your special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. If you've ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, or just deal with money stuff in general, you know, man, it can be a lot. That's why we have to tell you about the Rate app. It's seriously a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops. If you're thinking about a home equity loan or a personal loan, you can secure one in under 15 days. The Rate app will also help you find the best homeowners insurance and auto insurance based on what you actually need. Here's the unexpected bonus, though. They've added over 800 free wellness videos. Stuff like meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, basically tools to help you feel better mentally and physically. So if you're stressed out about a loan or a mortgage or the Cubs, seriously, just the Rate app is the place to handle all of it. Once that's covered, you can hit those free wellness videos and just chill out. It's one app that helps you with both your wallet and your well-being. Download the Rate app today to get started. And we have a ticket giveaway contest right now. Enter Rate's CHGO Summertime Sweepstakes. Rate and CHGO are hooking you up with some sweet summer baseball tickets. Win 4 tickets to sit in the bleachers with the CHGO crew Friday 120 Club on May 30th. That's right around the corner, as you know. Score 2 Rate Club tickets to the Cubs-Sox crosstown game at Wrigley Field on Saturday, July 26th. Rate Club is all-inclusive food and drinks. Hello. And download the Rate app and visit allchgo.com/rate to get signed up today. That's allchgo.com/rate. No purchase necessary. Cubs did make a move while the game was going on. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Genesis Cabrera via John Heyman. I don't know if that was talked about after the game, but a 28-year-old pitcher, a left-hander, he's pitched for the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, and most recently, the Mets. What do you think of this? Now, there's got to be a reason that the Mets released him, first of all. But the Cubs have found somebody else's trash is somebody else's treasure.
That's one way to look at it.
Right? They just have.
You know,
Chris Flexen was the White Sox trash last year. Chris Flexen is Cy Young this year.
Again, I need to get the reality spray on you about Chris Flexen, but he's pitched 6 games this year, 7 2/3 innings, had a 3.52 earned run average in the process. Now, I believe he didn't have any minor league options. He didn't want to go back to Iowa or he didn't want to go back to AAA. I don't know what the situation was with him and his contract. All I know is he was a free agent, basically.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember when this guy was on the Cardinals. In 2021, this guy had a 3.73 earned run average and 70 innings pitched. And his FIP was 3.28. And that was his best season. Had a 1.2 Fangraphs WAR for elite reliever. That's pretty solid. 9.90 K per 9. But his problem that he's had over the course of his career is during his years with the Cardinals at least, was he walked a lot of guys. I mean, even that season, he had a 12.2% walk rate, right? The year before, he had a 16.7% walk rate. Now, the last handful of years, been right around 10%, which is still pretty high, in my opinion, for a reliever. But the guy has generated a lot of whiffs. He's got a season in there where 2020 struck out 33% of the batters he faced, 2021, 26%. These last couple of years, though, he hasn't been getting as much whiff or as many strikeouts at least. To look at his baseball savant, to look at his chase and whiff rate, but I don't know. All I know is that the last handful of years hasn't been very good. His best years were for sure with the Cardinals.
They'll see if they can fix him.
And it's one of those, we'll see if they can fix him. And I compared it to like Tyson Miller or Drew Pomerantz. Tyson Miller last year got picked up in the middle of the year. And this year, I mean, it kind of feels like a slap in the face to Drew Pomerantz. But before this year, Drew Pomerantz hadn't pitched in the majors since 2021. And he's been awesome.
Hey, if this season has told us and proven anything to us, it's that you can't have enough arms.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, can't have enough players, period.
Right. Yeah. So, this year, the basic numbers, again, 3.5 ERA and 7 innings this year. His expected ERA was 4.47. So, maybe he's had some luck in there. But he's 28 years old.
Yeah.
He's had some success.
Take a flyer. Why not?
Yeah, at this point. I mean,
heck, you signed Kenta Maeda.
Yeah, he signed Kenta Maeda. Nuno. I think I tweeted that if Kenta Maeda helps the Cubs win a game this year, I would send Tommy Hotovy
I thought you would present him with a cake.
Well,
You'd stand just outside the Cubs parking area.
Yeah, I'll stand
with a cake, candles lit.
I'll stand with Sam Bernero and I will hold a cake and hand it to Tommy Hotovy. Yeah, but I don't really know what to make of this other than like this is for sure like one of those flyer things, and hopefully it ends up being something like a Tyson Miller / Drew Pomerantz type situation.
Yeah, but
there's not enough evidence from this year to say, oh, this or that. 62 innings pitched last year with Toronto, but I had 3.5 ERA, but like the underlying peripherals don't look great. He had a negative WAR last year, despite the fact that he had a 3.5 ERA.
Trust the pitch lab. Trust the Pitch Lab. KM in the live YouTube chat here at the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to, says, Cubs may need another catcher here until Amaya comes back. Well, Jed Hoyer talked a lot about that catcher situation before the game today. This is from Marquis' YouTube page. This is Jed Hoyer tonight talking about the Cubs catcher situation and what they're going to do.
To me, a big part of both of their successes were the fact that they were really well rested. That we don't have to lean on any one guy too much, and I think that's important. That it's a long season; you can't wear someone down, and I think it's one of the challenges of our sport. You want to win every single night, but you're going to have to play your bench. You're going to have to use different relievers. You're going to have to. You can't just lean on the same things over and over. Otherwise, you end up with really exhausted catchers that wear down at the end. So. Reese is going to have to step up because we can't overtax Carson early in the season.
So we will see if they can do that. Folks in the live YouTube chat, James Colstock said he did a nice job filling the basket. The dollar store.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, I got you. Moises Ballesteros is not the choice to come up. They've made that clear. Yep. But it doesn't – I would agree that's not the right move. I don't want Moises Ballesteros behind the plate right now. I don't mind if he comes up for those situations where they need an extra bat. And hopefully the next time he comes up for that reason, it's just as much improvement as you're seeing from Shaw. I'm just not sure he's ready to handle the pitching staff, especially as critical as it is right now.
I know we're going to play the sound, but I just want to say that I think that if it was later in the year and depending on where you're at in the standings, I think that would be more like a better plan. You know what I mean?
Maybe. It just depends. Like, if I'm in a playoff game, I don't know that I want him.
Well, yeah, that's different than me saying
sure
like
it is,
in August with a big lead in the division, if that's perhaps happening.
But the news on Amaya is it's at least 4 to 6 weeks because he has an oblique injury. So this is Jed Hoyer talking about Ballesteros, why he's not the choice to come up and be the catcher with Amaya now out for potentially a month or a month and a half.
Yeah, I think it's all of it. I think it's learning how to call a game. It's it's blocking, it's framing. I think all those things can improve, but not because he doesn't have the ability, but because he's so young and he hasn't done it that much. I think that where we are right now, it felt like the right decision, to bring up Reese. But that's not a knock on Moises. We obviously called him up earlier because we believe in his bat so much. I think the offense is ahead of the catching, but that's probably natural. There's a reason that catchers, kind of get better with age. They learn more, and I think that through that experience, they get better at the job. And so it's not a knock on him. He's done a great job this year. He's had a great year, but we felt like the right decision was Reese for the team.
I think it is the right decision. I'm not sure the Cubs yet know if Ballesteros will be a catcher moving forward. I think it's one of those things. They're hoping that they can get him that way, and like he said, a lot of times that comes second in a young catcher, the catching part of it. But we'll see. I just don't think that now is the right time. Now, the thing that I said right away when I saw Amaya was, what is going on? I was out there grilling hot dogs on Sunday for us, and I thought I felt a little oblique going the way this is going. You almost pulled one when you jumped up at the end of the game. First of all, up until like 10 years ago, I had never even heard the term oblique.
Yeah.
Now it's all you hear. And how many Cubs have had that this year? It's what Assad is dealing with, correct?
Yep. Ian Happ had
Happ had the oblique.
Yep.
Somebody else just Porter Hodge, oblique.
Yeah. There's 3 this
year. And now Amaya. That's 4 obliques that we know of.
Seiya's had it in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Last
we know
2 years.
Seiya had it, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
it just seems like it's endless. Oblique.
Yeah.
So, of course, Jed Hoyer was asked, dude, what's with all the obliques?
I mean, I just think we're a rotational sport, and I think that guys are bigger, stronger, faster than they've ever been. So I think that, that's going to lead to rotational injuries. I think that, I don't know this. I mean, for all I know, in the 40s and 50s, guys had tons of obliques that we never heard about. But I think there's the difference in the strength of these players and how fast they turn and how often they do it. I think that's the nature of it. It's not a fun injury. It's one of those things, you hear it, it's going to be some time. But I don't know if it's avoidable the way guys train. And I think that's the nature of our sport today in general, is that these guys are just bigger, stronger, faster than they used to be. They throw the ball way harder, they hit the ball harder, they're faster, and I think that leads to more injuries. The alternative to that is to not train as hard, not be as strong, not be as fast, not be as good, but that's being weeded out of the game. And so I just think that that's the nature of the way our sport is played now, and I think that does lead to more soft tissue injuries as you're trying to kind of optimize your body and optimize your performance.
Having said all that, when it happens to your own team, do you look under the hood?
Of course. Yeah, every injury you do a postmortem on all the things that we can control. What that player's workload was, what they've been doing in the weight room, where they are from a workload standpoint. So yeah, every injury we have, we spend a lot of time diagnosing and the issue. Sometimes they happen. Sometimes we can identify something, but in terms of how much we think about these things, it's significant.
All right, so they are thinking about it. Sean Caselli, known athlete and diehard and Friday 120 Club member, said he hurt his oblique a couple months ago in the live YouTube chat. Couldn't even get out of bed. It hurt so bad. So I empathize. It's getting too late. Empathize is what I meant to say with these guys. And Chef Kevin pointed out that, the grilling one can happen to anybody. Can happen, especially.
Well, a chef would know that.
You get up there a little bit in age, you go like this, and all of a sudden, oblique, there it goes.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk more about that in a second, and we'll look ahead to the series finale against the Rockies in just a minute. But first, Cody has pulled an oblique muscle one time trying to get tickets quickly.
Well, anytime I do anything athletically,
it
can be bad. That'll be used against me for many years ahead. Anyway, thankfully, Game Time helps me get tickets pretty easily. They make scoring MLB tickets faster and easier with exclusive discounts. You'll find great seats for as low as $100 or less, especially during the Cubs during the week. Weekends can get up to $100 for especially when the Cardinals come to town on 4th of July weekend. But they make getting tickets easier. That is the point. The great value plays, stuff like that. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Every time I get off the red line, I pull up Game Time on my walk to Murphy's at Friday 120 Club. And these days, some of those as it gets warmer, those day games on Fridays, like, let's just be honest about it, they're going to be more than they are in April because it's warmer, the Cubs are good. But if you wait, the longer you wait before first pitch, the better value you're going to get. That is the point of Game Time, and that is why they are better than all the rest of them. All right, and so I'll go to Murphy's and I'll bring up Game Time, 2 hours before, an hour before, and wait until sometimes 30 minutes before, 15 minutes, you'll get a better price for your ticket. All right. You save more when you choose a section to let Game Time choose the seats with zone deals. They have all in pricing. When you toggle that feature, it shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. No one likes a bait and switch, especially Luke Stuckmeyer. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with their seat views, and they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They also have Game Time ticket coverage, so your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Important question, Cody.
What's that, Luke?
What's your favorite Lucy flavor?
Well, Luke, just like you, it's all of them.
It's all of them.
I love them all.
Sarah, what strength Lucy do you use?
10,000 neck.
10,000.
What's why do you like that one so much?
Because it makes me feel good.
10K, yeah, it makes you feel good. I know a lot of my buddies, they like to use the old Lucy for golfing. Helps them even out just a little bit on the putting green. Helps them on the putting green.
Every flavor is my
Helps
favorite
on the
flavor.
putting
What's your favorite flavor?
Every flavor.
Every flavor, that's right.
I thought about throwing one in when we were watching this game because I was really going to be mad if we were going to have to come on here and do a losing postgame to the Rockies. That helped me keeps the stress low.
Yeah, or if you're dealing with an oblique or something, sometimes you can just, help
helps
you out.
Loosen you up a little bit,
Yeah, level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use the promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co, lucy.co, and use the code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. Now, here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Oh, Godfather never change. He says Ricketts pulled his oblique counting his money too fast. Poor guy.
Godfather, though, was very... Godfather Michael Collada was very positive early on. He said, you got to give Counsell credit for the way he's using this bullpen.
Wow, I didn't see that.
I think he's starting to, Counsell is starting to find guys that he thinks he can put them in the right role, which has not been easy because they drop like flies.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries, and they've had guys who've been good, and then they fall apart like Julian Merriweather.
Yep.
Right? Ryan Presley was good for 10 outings, and then he blew up and gave up 8 earned against the Giants.
But now he slowly used him the right way and kind of eased him back into the situation. I think tonight if he gives up the winning run. We're never going to hear the end of it.
I also think that the idea of just not using him in the 9th inning, like they finally reached that point.
Yeah.
And like when Presley was struggling early in April, and everyone always bringing up the fact that he came from the Astros, just like Hector Neris, and like that whole situation. My biggest thing that I had an issue with Hector Neris last year wasn't even really Hector Neris. It was more about the Cubs continuously running him out there into the 9th inning to close games. I mean, he was closing games in the beginning of August, and then they finally DFA'd him, right? Like, one of the breath of fresh air that we have gotten from this Cubs team this year is that when guys aren't getting it done, you're either going back to Iowa or you're just moved out of the role. Ryan Presley is – well,
jobs are on the line.
Jobs are on the line, but in many ways, like I while I agree with you with that, in many ways, it's also like in the past they wouldn't have just they would have let Presley go longer into that role the longer the season went along. I think it's because they realized that this team is good. You know, last year's team, they didn't have enough depth in the bullpen, and Jed Hoyer acknowledged that. So maybe that's the reason why they left Hector Neris in that role for as long as they did. And I'm not trying to bring up old scars, but it has been a breath of fresh air for the most part with this team this year that when guys haven't got the job done, they have moved on to someone new. They have tried someone new. And maybe it's because they have more options this year. Maybe it's not, but I just enjoy it because I think we all knew pretty quickly that Ryan Presley wasn't going to be the closer at the end of the year. And am I surprised that they moved him off the role as soon as they did? Yes, just based off their actions these last couple years. But I am also glad that they've held on to him too. It's not like they just DFA'd him.
Right.
And he's given them solid innings outside of that outing against the Giants. And I like him as a 7th, 8th inning guy, something like that. 6th, 7th, 8th inning, wherever you want to use him. So I'm happy. I'm happy about the bounce back that he's had.
We have a couple of Toyota Super Chats here at CHGO Cubs. Our guy Steven, $5 says, "Are you happy with how the Cubs have handled Horton's development and pitch count? I think at some point they're going to need 7 innings from him." Well, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning about whether or not you wanted him to come back out for that, even though the pitch count was there at 80, and he went over that last time, but 80 was the mark that they kept putting for him at the minor leagues. Well, I'm forgetting that, but we are talking about, Steven says 7 innings. Well, 7 innings needs to be efficient.
Yeah.
That's really the key. Cut down on the walks, cut down on the ineffective waste pitches, and that's something they asked him to do when he was at Iowa, and that's something that will help him pitch longer. But as Cody pointed out at the beginning of the show, you got to be careful with how many pitches this guy throws in general because you want to have him useful and effective at the end of the season. And remember, there's a good chance he will throw much more than he has ever thrown in his life this year.
And you pointed out, I don't have the credentials to sit here and say what the Cubs are doing with Cade Horton's development is good or bad in terms of his pitch count. All I know is what I know, and he had 2 injuries, Tommy John surgery a few years ago, and then he had an injury last year with the lat injury, right?
Right.
And so all I can say is that I felt like coming into the year that we probably were going to get a innings limit for him this year. And I was hoping that they weren't going to have to call him up because a major injury happened. Unfortunately, that is what happened. And thankfully, he's been very good for them. But I am concerned for down the road because he didn't pitch for half the year last year.
Sure.
And so I just don't know how he's going to hold up in September if he's still in the rotation.
Let's see. And I'm curious with Steven's question. I'm not sure exactly which way he's asking it. He's saying how the Cubs have handled Horton's development and pitch count. Are we counting them as like the same thing? Or are you saying / pitch count? Like that his development I have zero problem with, right? each start's been getting better and better. I think they've used him nicely. They're building his confidence. He's been productive in an emergency situation. So the development part, if you're just talking about a development as a pitcher, moving forward as a young pitcher, I'm happy with it. If you're talking about the pitch count, I don't know if I know that answer, but what Cody's saying about the end of the season is something to consider. Yes, they would like him to pitch into the 7th inning, but that's going to have to be him being more effective with some of his pitches. KM with a Toyota Super Chat for $2. Opinion on Horton fielding could have been injured. Yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
And frankly, Justin Steele was on the broadcast. By the way, he was great. Great to see Justin Steele and hope he's doing well. Seems like he's in great spirits. He was like, yeah, when he gets older, he'll let his third baseman grab that one.
Yeah.
I was like, yes. He was a little over-aggressive.
Yeah.
It reminded me of some of the plays that PCA would go all over the place for when he first got here.
Yeah.
Like, right, I mean, he's a spectacular outfielder, but like PCA wanted to catch it if it was on the right field line.
Even kind of reminded me of Justin Steele the first couple years in his career.
Yes.
You know, going back to the play in Texas on opening day
Competitive
last
guys
year.
that have always thought they need to make every play.
Right. Yeah. Do I think Matt Shaw would have made the play and got the out?
I don't know.
I don't know, but
the
I would have
pitcher wouldn't have
rather
been hurt.
seen him make it. I
Yeah.
would have rather seen him make the play
Yeah.
or field it or whatever than Cade Horton diving. All right, that is for sure. Okay, Matt Boyd did it. What, on Friday?
Yeah.
In Game 1 against the Reds, and that guy, he's had injury problems in his career.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either.
Like, can we just not? We just not. You know what I mean? It makes you appreciate how great Greg Maddux was as a defensive player, as a pitcher.
A lot of gold gloves.
Because he would just
Well,
but he would do it with his glove. It's not like he was
no.
diving all
Yes,
over the
yeah.
place. But it does make you kind of appreciate
He
a
was
little
just
bit
ready
more
to
about how
field
great
his
he was.
position.
Yes,
Period.
exactly.
And I do think I might be lumping everybody into one thing, but I think it is a bit of a lost art. Guys are throwing so hard now, there's almost no way they can't fall off the mound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Cody Frazier with a $2 super chat said early analysis on Genesis Cabrera. We were just talking about it. We both say, sure, why not? Put him in the pitch lab and see what happens. Can't hurt.
Yeah.
Can't hurt. We'll find out.
You have a great name.
And that too. And that too. Somebody in the chat earlier mentioned, and I thought it was a good point, that when we were talking about catcher and the oblique injury and Ballesteros, and it was, listen, if they don't throw out two guys at second base, could have been a different game. Throwing out two guys trying to steal second is a big deal in a one-run game that goes 11 innings.
Reese McGuire.
Yeah. So not only do we have the Reese McGuire game from, what was that, Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
The Reese McGuire game. How could I forget? And then now you have the Reese McGuire throwing game.
Right. Well, I think Michael in the chat pointed out earlier, getting anything out of Reese McGuire defensively is like the main focus for him. He's a career backup catcher. The fact that he hit 2 homers in a game in his debut with the Cubs is exciting. It's fun. Gave him all the credit on Sunday, but I'm not going to expect some massive offensive outburst from him over the next month, like we saw from Carson Kelly in April or Christian Bethancourt last year. But
great game.
The defense, to be able to throw out some runners, if he can hold some runners on, work well at the pitchers, then that's all I'm really asking for, the real bare minimum for a guy like him. So good to see Carson Kelly getting a bat tonight too. Want to see him
almost
in the lineup
almost
tomorrow.
did it. I said the Carson Kelly walk-off game.
He would have if the wind wasn't blowing in. He would. Carson Kelly,
We almost
Michael
lost our
Busch.
minds.
Yeah. Carson Kelly, Michael Busch, and Seiya Suzuki should have had homers tonight. The wind at Wrigley, it's awesome and not awesome. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I really do.
You mentioned Matthew Boyd. He goes tomorrow against the Rockies in the series finale, another 7:05 start.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just repeat what I said about the White Sox?
Sure.
Because I was real worried when they didn't score in extra innings, the Cubs tonight, that this was going to be a loss. And we were going to be facing the situation of potentially losing a series to the Rockies, which would be totally unacceptable. Now they're up 2 games. The Cubs have a chance to sweep. Sweep the Rockies. You have to sweep minor league teams. You swept the Sox. These guys are 9-46. 9-40. They are going to destroy the White Sox record-setting season last year.
Mm-hmm.
They are that bad. And they're going to trade guys off. The record's only going to get worse. Sweep them. Don't give away a game to a team. I know baseball is baseball, and anybody can win on any given day, but it shouldn't happen.
I agree.
Going into the extra innings, you had like 5 runs in 2 days against the Rockies?
Mm-hmm.
Not tomorrow, baby. Pile up 10 on them.
Yeah.
Series finale. Pile up 10, blow them out, send them back to the Rockies.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I said this on Sunday that I don't expect sweeps all the time because they're hard to do in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But against this team,
Yeah,
yes,
I expect it.
You need to sweep tomorrow. And thank God you won tonight because the Cardinals and Brewers won today. If you're standings watching in May. But yeah, you need to sweep the Rockies tomorrow. You just simply need to. So yeah, no, I agree.
And last thing, the guy that was throwing at the end for the Rockies that ended up losing the game,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind looking into that guy.
Yeah, like I kind of want to learn a little bit more
I know his
about
numbers
him, right?
didn't seem too great, but he looked all right.
Yeah.
Looked all right.
Hey, before we get out of here, great
Yeah.
stat from Zoe Grossman from Marquee.
All right.
Cubs are 13 games over 500 for the first time since September 5th, 2019. Let's not talk about the ending of that season and the pain that it gave me.
Please.
But the 3 Cubs starters for tonight, Matt Shaw, Pecor Armstrong, and Cade Horton, were all in high school on that date.
Wow.
So if you needed to feel old tonight.
No, I didn't necessarily need that. And one quick reminder, by the way, as we talk about events on the way out, we have our Cookout Classic coming up on June 6th. Mm-hmm. Still time to sign up and do this. 8 a.m. shotgun start, Village Links of Glen Ellen. Get a foursome together. Meet us out there. Have a good time. Cookout afterwards. Fun times. There's all kinds of prizes and tee shot, the closest to the pin, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time. Make sure you check us out.
What else? Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I think that we
Matty
have
Boy tomorrow.
Subscribe to CHGO Cubs. Hit the like button.
We went over
All that good
3,000
stuff.
subscribers.
We did go over 3,000.
on Memorial Day.
Let's make it 4,000.
Yeah, we got to get to 4,000 next. Yep. Appreciate y'all's support. Yeah, Matt Shaw, have a week, man. Let's make it 2 weeks. Huge game tonight, and I am once again just enjoying the ride. No declarations, just enjoying the ride. Sweep the Rockies tomorrow.
Yes, Cubs win 4-3. Thanks to everybody that joined us in the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. If you do it on podcast form, we appreciate that. Nice reviews, thumbs up, all that stuff. And we will see you tomorrow night after the game for a full hour. Until then, thanks for watching, and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.